Hey, it's Janelle Waz and welcome back for another video. You may remember a video I did a while ago about the show Wishbone, which follows the adventures of a Jack Russell Terrier named Wishbone and his owner Joe Talbot. The goal of the show was to introduce children to classic literature, and many 90s kids grew up watching it. I know I did. And ever since I did that video, I wanted to do another one. The premise of Wishbone sounds innocent enough, but what if I told you that not even Wishbone was immune to controversy? What if I told you there was an episode taken off the air, banned in 1999? Well, that's the episode I'm talking about today. The 1995 Wishbone episode, The Canine Cure, features the play The Imaginary Invalid, written by French playwright Moliere. Yeah, admittedly, I never heard of that play before Wishbone either. But due to some parental concerns, it was taken off the air in 1999. But luckily, thanks to YouTube, nothing is ever truly forgotten. Get your popcorn ready because we're digging up this lost episode of Wishbone and seeing if this episode deserved to be taken off the air. What was it? Was Wishbone caught swearing on camera? Was he caught bad-mouthing his fellow cast members? Was there an unfortunate wardrobe malfunction? Let's find out. What's the story, Wishbone? We start the episode with Wishbone looking at cookies. In fact, he tries to use his Jedi powers to give himself a cookie.
All right, Cookie Jar. I will now bring you to me using only the power of my mind.
I can't. It's too big.
But now Joe is home and he's brought home a friend. No, it's not regular cast members Sam or David, but a rarely seen friend named Nathaniel, whose house is being painted and he needs a place to stay. He then proceeds to leave his crap everywhere, upsetting Wishbone. Now, I would say Nathaniel is a guest in this house, so some allowances should be made. But you try telling that to a dog. A humidifier? I see you pack lightly.
This is a list from my mom of everything I'm allergic to, broken down by food group.
How about air? Are you allergic to air? You can tell the expression on Ellen's face says, I hope my liability insurance is paid up. You know what, at this point she should probably require this kid sign a waiver.
It's the number for which medicine I should take if I accidentally eat or inhale any of those things. The medicine list is on the last page.
And of course, this wouldn't be an episode of Wishbone if this whole thing didn't remind Wishbone of some sort of classical work of literature, specifically The Imaginary Invalid.
I am, of course, Moliere, the author of tonight's play, The Imaginary Invalid.
Okay, that's a complete cop-out. I'm calling BS here. They just made Wishbone Moliere himself, and not an actual character. No wonder this episode was banned.
This play concerns me as Argon, who imagines that he's sick.
Oh, okay. He's playing Moliere, who's playing the main character, Argon.
He's a little gruff.
This entire section of the episode is done like a play, and the characters are introduced and the farce begins.
Farce would be more appropriate.
Argon calls his servant Toinette.
Master, I came running as fast as I can. When was the last time you got up and ran?
Little mouthy, that one.
Time for my 17th pill.
So basically, Argon is kind of a jerk, and a hypochondriac who's also cheap. He plans to get his daughter Angelique to marry a doctor so he can get free treatment. Because with 17 or more pills to take, he's practically putting everyone at his local Walgreens through college.
And then bring me my daughter.
Your daughter?
My daughter!
Back in the present, Ellen is setting out all of Nathaniel's medicines, which, again, I'm pretty sure is putting everyone at his local Walgreens through college.
Let's see, cough syrup, cough drops, decongestant, stomach soother, ear drops, eye drops, poison ivy lotion, elastic bandages, inhaler, and a snake bite kit.
Why did it have to be snakes?
That's a lot of stuff.
No shit, Joe! I mean, Ellen's even afraid to give this kid a cookie!
Oh, I better check the food allergy list.
Are those chocolate chip?
Oatmeal raisin?
That should be okay.
Wishbone attempts to use his Jedi mind tricks to get Nathaniel to give him a cookie. You will give Wishbone a cookie. I will give Wishbone a cookie. It turns out that Nathaniel's mom is super careful about his health due to Nathaniel having a bad asthma attack as a kid where he got really sick. Okay, understandable. Ellen seems to get that.
All parents worry. We can't help it. We take care of you, and someday you may have to take care of us.
No parent should expect to be paid back for the love they've given their children.
Well, why the hell not?
And just when I was getting acclimated to this scene, the story flips back to the imaginary invalid.
Where is my daughter? I need her right now!
She waits in the hall, so don't have a cow.
Was that expression used back then?
Don't have a cow, Dad.
Argan informs his daughter that he's found a doctor for her to marry, but she's in love with someone else.
It seems we have different plans for my wedding. You see, I met this guy.
Oof. I'm sorry. I'm willing to make allowances for these actors. They're in a children's production that's centered around a dog on public access television, so I'm not expecting Oscar-winning acting here. But this is terrible even by those standards. And it's not just the acting, even the dialogue is terrible. It's this weird combination of pseudo-17th century dialect combined with modern vocab.
So don't have a cow.
I met this guy.
I'm not expecting 100% historical accuracy here, but give me something close to it. I mean, this is just terrible.
Now you've done it.
Well, I'm sorry. To be fair here, though, the actress who plays Toinette is probably the best out of the lot, and she's even appeared in other Wishbone episodes. But you know she's just here for the paycheck.
My servant, you just blew it! She'll marry him, you fool!
Oh, thank God we're back in the present. Joe and Nathaniel are having a good old time playing checkers.
You can't do that. He's like, yeah, it's a king. Kings can do anything.
Really, Joe? You didn't know kings could move backwards? You're playing checkers! The rules can't get much simpler. It's not chess. But here comes Nathaniel's mom.
I don't mean to be any bother, Ellen.
Lady, you already are. You sent your kid over to another kid's house with a humidifier, not to mention the checklist of allergies, medicines, and enough Benadryl to knock out a kid's soccer team. It's not even my house, and even I want you to leave.
I don't mean to be any bother, Ellen, but I found Nathaniel's vitamin schedule on his dresser, and you know how kids are about their medicine.
You mean to tell me this kid walks around with a list of allergies, medicines, and vitamins? Why don't you just get it over with and put him in a bubble already? Now, before anyone says anything, yes, I know there are kids with serious health issues and certain precautions have to be taken, and I don't have a problem with that for legit health concerns. The problem here is that Nathaniel is clearly not one of those kids. Out of the blue, Talbot neighbor Wanda enters the house to talk to Ellen, and...
Sorry.
What the hell, lady?
You have a dog.
How observant!
Are you, scared of dogs?
No. I love dogs.
Lady, I don't believe you.
But, Nathaniel's allergic to dogs. He is?
He is?
I am?
Oh, bullshit! The kid doesn't even know he's allergic to dogs. It's not even on your precious list.
But you are very, very, very allergic to dogs. That's why we don't have one.
Yeah, that's why.
They make it impossible for him to breathe. The hair aggravates his sinuses and they give him hives.
Oh, and what about dander? You should see him scratch. Great clouds of dander.
Wanda, don't help. We all know how good your judgment is in putting a kid who can't do basic math in charge of the money at your yard sale.
This jacket's 10%.
I don't know how I could have forgotten.
Oh, come on, Nathaniel. You don't believe that, do you? You're not allergic to me. I'm one of those new, non-allergenic dogs.
Well, that's not entirely true either. Technically speaking, no dog is hypoallergenic, although some are better than others. For example, I have Bedlington Terriers, which are often called hypoallergenic because they don't shed, they don't have a lot of dander, and they don't drool a lot. But that's not to say they won't trigger a reaction in a highly allergic person with the low dander they do give off. And yes, I mention my dogs in this video as an excuse to talk about them. In my research of Jack Russell Terriers, or in other words, quick Googling, Jack Russells do indeed shed and would probably trigger a reaction in people with pet allergies. Not even close to hypoallergenic. That being said, Nathaniel's been hanging out with Wishbone since he got there, and he's just now sneezing? The kid's got a list of allergies the size of his arm. How do we know it's not one of those?
Don't worry. We'll get you a hotel room.
No, it'll be okay. Joe, why don't you put Wishbone in the yard, and then I'll vacuum all the rugs. Nathaniel, you can stay in Joe's room, and I'll put Wishbone in the study for the weekend.
Look, far be it for me to agree with this lady, but a hotel room at this point is probably the best option. I don't care how good a cleaner you think you are, Ellen, but if Nathaniel is as allergic as his mom claims he is, which he isn't, but go with me on this, you won't be able to clean well enough. Unless, of course, you're in a professional cleaning crew, but in other episodes it stated you're a librarian, so probably not. He'll still be uncomfortable, and you would have kicked up all the dust that he's probably allergic to anyways. Not to mention that putting Wishbone outside and confining him to one room for a weekend? I mean, this dog is fictional, and I still feel bad for him.
I'm sorry to cause all this trouble, Ellen.
You're not sorry.
Nathaniel's so sensitive.
Don't be silly. It'll be fine.
No, it won't, actually.
How does the dog have the most common sense in the room right now?
He loves me too much to lock me away, right, Joe? You'd never do that, pal, right? Think of all the things I do for you. I pet your tennis balls. I catch your frisbees. I finish his dinner. Joe?
The look of utter betrayal.
I'm not making Nathaniel sick. His mother is.
You said it, little buddy. No, don't go back to the Imaginary Invalid. I'm invested in the other story. Well, anyways, Argan is talking to his wife, who's concerned about his health, until the will and money comes up.
Oh no! I can't bear it to think of you dead. Oh, don't say it. It can't be. But how much did you say you were leaving to me? I just happened to have a lawyer just outside the door.
He even has him on speed dial.
Can you imagine a world without lawyers?
Get the papers, you jerk. Come on, make it snappy.
Well, I'm glad that segment was snappy because
I just don't see the value of this man's work.
Meanwhile, Wishbone is trying to escape from the yard.
A little to the left, and we almost got it. Ta-da!
I'm really sorry, guys. It's not your fault, Nathaniel.
No, it's not. It's really Ellen's. Sure, Nathaniel's mom is probably lying about Nathaniel's dog allergy, but Ellen stopped them from going to a hotel, which probably would have been better for everyone than this.
Have a great time staying at my house.
That's the other thing that gets under my skin as a dog owner. Wishbone's home is his territory, and if you watch other episodes, he's not normally on a leash. Leaving out whether or not he should be, the fact is he's not. So putting him on a leash and confining him to a small area of the house for an entire weekend when they really don't have to, because again, this all could have been avoided by having Nathaniel stay at a hotel, it's just putting unnecessary stress on the dog. A couple of hours is one thing, but a couple of days? And it's not like Nathaniel has to stay with the Talbots because his family can't afford other options. His mom brought up the hotel. And just to be clear, I'm not blaming Nathaniel for this. If anything, the bulk of the blame rests on Nathaniel's mom and Ellen. Joe confides in cast regular Sam and David that Nathaniel's dog allergy is all in his head, that he was playing with Wishbone all afternoon before his mom arrived and told him he was allergic. Now this sounds about the right time for Joe to hatch a plan, right? Nope, we're back at the play. Argan's brother is over at the house telling Argan that he's in the peak of health and that the only thing he's accomplishing is putting his doctor's children and grandchildren through med school. And actually, the brother isn't too bad of an actor. He's pretty watchable.
Dear brother, there is a word for what you've got. It's called health. And you've got plenty of it. All those pills you take, your doctors must love it.
Here's Mr. Florent with my 3 o'clock shot.
Holy inoculation! Are you trying to give someone a shot or fumigating the room?
This appointment is now finito.
Not gonna lie, this is probably the most entertaining part of this play.
What's this I hear about someone disobeying doctor's orders?
It was a pleasure treating you. Don't hesitate to call again.
Though Brother Dearest chases away the doctor, which I'm sure is going on Argan's chart.
What are you writing?
And hatches a plan for Argan to fake his death to see who loves him the most, because that worked out for Romeo and Juliet. Meanwhile, it's bedtime back in the present. Nathaniel has his humidifier set up, Joe has the light on, and lady, aren't you supposed to be painting a house?
Nathaniel, you have a great time, sweetie.
I will.
Good night, boys.
Night, Mom. Night, Joe. Night.
Oh, the humanity!
Good night, Wishbone. It's only for one more day, boy.
Oh, really? Then why don't you keep Wishbone company and sleep on the couch since this was your idea? But Wishbone is no dummy. Sure, he tries to levitate over the gate.
I will now levitate over this barrier!
But he still has enough logic to put some pillows together to jump over the gate. Okay, how does Ellen not hear any of this? She doesn't even have the TV on. She's quietly reading a book. But don't ask questions. Wishbone is a dog with a plan. He plants himself right by Nathaniel as he's sleeping. He even moves by the humidifier, and guess what? Nathaniel is still breathing. Looks like Wishbone's got himself a spot for the evening, so it's back to the play. Again. Argan is playing dead, and Wifey walks in.
I know you're crushed. You'll miss him so.
I thought he was never going to go.
See, when she vowed till death do us part, she meant it and had the lawyer on speed dial just in case. Argan wakes up and she resumes her act, but too late. For you see, she may have seen the body of her motionless husband, but she didn't check for a pulse.
It can't be!
Yes, it can, 'cause I am!
But here comes the daughter, Angelique.
No, it can't be. Oh, my poor father.
I know your instinct is probably telling you this is all an act, and an awfully acted act at that. But no, Angelique is indeed saddened by the loss of her father and doesn't even want to marry her boyfriend anymore.
I'd like to shake his paw.
Leon, say hi to your new dad-in-law!
So I guess the wedding's back on now. And thankfully, the play comes to a close. Between the horrible acting and the inaccurate costumes that couldn't decide on a single era, making the historical costumer and me scream, a review of this play from me would be rather scathing. And good morning, Joe! It's a lovely morning. The sun is shining, and Wishbone is hanging out next to Nathaniel, who hasn't made a peep the entire night.
Believe me, I know if there's any dog hair left in here.
Hello?
There's a dog in my bed.
Yeah, they generally like to sleep there.
Maybe you're not allergic to dogs, yeah?
Nathaniel makes a friend and crosses dog off his allergy list. I can't wait to see his mom's react. What do you mean the episode's over? That's it? I was expecting some blowout with the mom. The episode does end with a little background information about designing the stage so it could incorporate multiple scenes onto one stage. And most Wishbone episodes end this way and provide some interesting behind-the-scenes trivia, but that doesn't make up for the lack of a proper ending. But that was the banned Wishbone episode, The Canine Cure. Now let's talk about why this episode was banned. After all, there didn't seem to be anything offensive in it. Why all the fuss? From what I could glean from IMDb as well as the YouTube comments section, concerns arose that kids would think their parents are overprotective and wouldn't listen to them, especially kids who are supposed to be taking medication. Is this reason enough? Maybe? I could see why people would think that, and I think it comes down to the poor execution of the episode. I think the whole hypochondriac thing is very poorly handled. Maybe it wasn't the intent of the writers and it just came down to poor direction, but Nathaniel's mom comes across like she's lying about the whole dog allergy thing. And it's very apparent that the allergy, medication, and vitamin lists are all coming from her and not Nathaniel. Heck, she even supervises him to take his meds. I get that this is explained away by Nathaniel having a bad asthma attack when he was little, so his mom worries about him, but it's too much, at least for me as the audience. I think they could have avoided the whole reason for banning the episode if it was written that the hypochondria was coming from Nathaniel himself and not his mother. In a kids show, parents are supposed to be the voice of reason, and with good reason, kids should listen to their parents. But having an adult act this way undermines that. Is that enough reason for the episode to be almost wiped off the face of the planet? Probably not. I think the poor quality of the episode is reason enough to lock it in the vault. But then again, I'm not a parent, so maybe there's something I'm missing here. I'm watching this through the eyes of a 90s kid who grew up with this show, and not a mother. But now what do you think? Was this episode worth being taken off the air? Was the reason behind the decision justified, or was it an overreaction? And are there other episodes of Wishbone you would like me to cover? Please leave a comment and discuss. As always, thanks for watching my video. If you like what you see, why not give my video a like and subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.